Look, it is a great pleasure to be here and to talk about, I think, what we are seeing tonight and the nexus between that and the policy debate and legislative debate that Australia is currently engaged in. And I wanted to start very briefly to just talk about why we're doing what we're doing as a government, and then how it intersects with the opportunities that Perenia clearly has decided can be seized nationally and internationally as a result of where the world is going. So first, we know that while science has told us what has occurred, the solution to climate change fundamentally relies on very deep and wide economic reform. And it requires us, for the first time, to start to price carbon and to start to reflect the cost of climate change in the economic decisions that we make. As Nicholas Stern so famously said, climate change is the greatest market failure the world has ever seen. So to truly tackle climate change, you have to put that price on carbon pollution, to try and change the incentive which currently is driving the worsening of climate change. Now, last week we did have a very pleasing win in the Senate, where we secured passage of one of our key election commitments, the renewable energy target, and I know there are many business people here who were sweating on that, and we were certainly pleased as the government to be able to deliver the election commitment we made to increase Australia's share of renewable energy to 20% by 2020. I think an historic piece of legislation. And I want to just mention the importance of cap and trade, not just to this nation but internationally. Obviously, one of the reasons the Australian government before the election chose to make a commitment to implement a cap and trade is that our view was that it was the most sensible policy option when considering all others to reduce Australia's emissions at the lowest cost. And I think that is a view that is becoming increasingly shared amongst the world's leading economies. Witness the strong support for emissions trading schemes or cap and trade schemes in the G8 declaration in Italy this year, and of course not just those nations who have already moved to a cap and trade scheme, but particularly the importance of the Obama administration seeking to do the same thing. But the other reason, obviously, cap and trade is so important is it enables linking, and it enables us to reflect through these market transactions the simple policy proposition that climate change is a global issue. So what can governments do? Well, we can create a stable, predictable investment environment, a certain policy environment, and what we have to do is drive the investment, the innovation, and the search for opportunities that we know are out there. And that is why I'm so pleased to be here tonight, because ahead of the passage of the CPRS and ahead of Copenhagen, we already see Australian companies and international companies being prepared to engage in that, to look to innovation, to look to investment, to be part of the search for opportunities and solutions in this world where we will eventually be facing a global carbon constraint. So I'm very pleased to be here. I'm very pleased to also launch a company which I think is an example of the way in which we need to cooperate at a business level as well as at a national government level. One of the things that I was very pleased about when I was reading Perenia's website, which I'm told is going to be updated as a result, or has been already, but a couple of points I wanted to make, because I thought these were very good things to remind us of. First, Perenia talks about the fact it offers complete carbon solutions, and I think that is an opportunity increasingly that will be taken up by the private sector. But this future plans paragraph is the part I like the best. We recognise the impacts of climate change are without boundaries, and we're committed to facilitating and enabling positive interaction between industrialised and developing nations in the areas of technology transfer, sustainable investment and clean development focused around successful project delivery. The transition to a low-carbon economy presents many opportunities for investment and job creation as well as challenges, and Perenia will work to enable organisations to successfully realise opportunities while managing risks. As somebody who's responsible for the negotiating of Australia's position internationally, I think to see a company articulating the importance of collaboration on technology transfer, sustainable investment and clean development, and the importance of recognising that climate change is an issue without boundaries is really music to my ears, because that is how we see it in the government. I think that's increasingly how the Australian people understand it, and it is an area of such importance to Australia internationally, but also in terms of our own interests, because we know too acutely, I think, the risks that climate change does present to our environment and to our economy and to our way of life, that we have companies who are prepared ahead of legislation being passed in Australia to seize the opportunity, I think really shows that we have the capacity to make this change. We have the capacity to innovate. What we do need is government, through the Parliament, to be able to provide the frameworks and the certainty that will unleash that investment and unleash that innovation and unleash those opportunities. I very much appreciate the opportunity to speak with you tonight. I wish you all well in your business endeavours. Thank you.